When you have childhood PTSD, there is nothing worse than being in some crucial conversation or some big moment and some little thing triggers you. And even though you know it's not worth getting upset about, it happens anyway. It's like you can feel it spreading through your body, the feeling of adrenaline and discombobulation. You feel numb maybe in your hands and face, or you have trouble expressing your thoughts, or you feel flooded with emotions like panic or rage. Have you ever had that? I used to get this all the time, and I didn't even know what it was. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and I want to teach you a little about what causes this in people who had childhood trauma and give you some quick tips to calm your triggers almost instantly. Now, there's a word for this sudden kind of stress inside. It's called dysregulation. It's really common for people who had trauma in childhood. You probably heard me talk about it, but it literally involves your brain waves and some of your body systems getting irregular and out of sync when certain triggers happen. Now, some triggers you could control if you really had to, but a lot of triggers you can't really control them, or not yet anyway. Now, if you get dysregulated, you've probably figured out how to survive okay while you're dysregulated. But as I'm sure you've noticed, it can make it really hard to think and focus, set boundaries, and navigate your life, because when you're dysregulated, only part of your brain is working. And doesn't that explain so much about why it can be so hard to make a change that sticks, and why we sometimes make the same mistakes over and over? It's not our fault that we're like this. It's an injury that comes from traumatic experiences. And the good news is there are things we can do to heal and calm those triggers. So what are your triggers? For a lot of people, it can be a loud noise or a sudden shock or an experience of being vulnerable or nervous, or most commonly, it's an emotional hurt like being criticized, overlooked, or rejected. And even when you know intellectually that the thing triggering you is not really a big deal, when you have childhood PTSD, it's like it doesn't matter that you know that. It's like you can feel it kind of like an altered state that's creeping through your body. Do you ever get that? Where you're thinking, oh no, here it comes again. That feeling where I just say things that ruin everything, or where I blank out at crucial moments, or where I lose my ability to focus for 3 days, or where I make a total idiot of myself. And even though in the past it might have been something you couldn't stop, the good news is you can learn to make it stop, and I can teach you that. So everybody gets dysregulated sometimes. Babies get dysregulated, athletes get dysregulated, brilliant scientists get dysregulated, I get dysregulated, and most of us will eventually re-regulate again. But for those of us with childhood PTSD or complex PTSD, it can happen more often, with more intensity, and it can be harder to return to a regulated state. It can make it hard just to do anything, to focus, hard to get things done, hard to speak, listen, connect, and sometimes it makes it hard to control emotions. It's a big reason why we struggle in relationships sometimes, and it also plays a role in why people who went through abuse and neglect in childhood have higher rates of chronic illness. Yeah, dysregulation has long-term effects on your central nervous system, including your hormones and your immune system, and your heart and lungs and circulation. So learning to calm your triggers could have a very important ripple effect, not just on your mood and your mind, but on your overall health. And I just want to remind you again, it's not your fault you have this. You didn't do this to yourself. It's an injury. It comes from trauma. Now that you're an adult, it's possible to either make it worse or to make it better. And if you want to learn how to make it better, I hope you'll check out the online courses I offer. They're linked in the description section below. But in this video, I want to give you 10 quick tricks that you can use right now to calm your triggers as soon as they happen. And I had to learn these because I used to have really bad dysregulation from childhood trauma. So if you want to get a feel for your own capacity to calm your triggers, just kind of open up to these and give them a try. So the first thing is to, 1, notice that you're triggered. This is sometimes easier said than done, I know. But as you start to study what sets off your dysregulation, you'll start to notice sooner than you used to that it's happening. When you know you're triggered and dysregulated, it's an opportunity to pause. You get to not jump in and confront people or try to solve big problems or make big life decisions until you have your whole brain back online. The second thing is to say to yourself, I am having an emotional reaction, or I am feeling triggered, or I am getting dysregulated. By saying this out loud to yourself, It helps you to separate out the part of you that's getting overwhelmed from the part of you that knows what to do about it. 3, make sure you're safe. If you're driving, pull over. If you're in the middle of an argument, put that discussion on hold in the nicest, most caring way that you can. You don't want to make people feel shut down or abandoned. You need to buy a little time to get re-regulated. So you can say something like, I want to continue this conversation, but I need to take a breather to calm down. Or if you don't want to tell the other person that you're triggered, tell them you need to go to the bathroom. Or if you're on the phone, you can say you have a call on the other line and you'll call them back. Don't get into a big discussion about it while you're dysregulated. Just find a way to put the conversation on pause and then actually take some time. If it feels really urgent that you do something or say something or solve a problem, it's probably the CPTSD talking. If that's the case, take an even longer time before you come back and try to resolve anything. The 4th thing is stamp your feet on the floor. It really works. You're just trying to help your body locate itself in space and to remember the left side of you and the right side. Your dysregulated brain is craving to feel the ground and to feel where you are in space. That's a big way that it comes back into regulation. 5, you probably thought I'd say this first, but it's breathing. Take 10 slow, deep breaths. Deep breaths are genuinely powerful at activating your relaxation response. And I know you know that, but sometimes we need our friends to remind us of the little things. While you're breathing, just to get more sensation of your body and where to kind of locate your consciousness, you can push your tongue to the back of your teeth right there, because your mouth is kind of a central part of where you feel like you're in your body. Another way, 6, to get back in your body is to sit down and just feel the weight of your butt in the chair. You can feel all the surfaces of the chair wherever it's touching you. 7, eat something. Food helps you feel your body too. And when you're stressed, if you're like me anyway, I know some people, they don't eat when they're stressed, but I crave carbs and sugar. A lot of us do. And those can give you a very quick fix when you're feeling distressed, but in the long run, they're going to add to the dysregulation. So see if you can go for a protein snack instead when you're feeling kind of dysregulated. 8, this is something my brother taught me at my mom's memorial, actually, when I was freaking out. He said, wash your hands. He walked over to the sink with me and had me wash my hands in warm water with soap. And then he reminded me to feel my hands, feel the water, just enjoy it a little bit. That very simple thing, you kind of do it several times a day anyway. You can use it as an opportunity to come back and re-regulate. Number 9, and this is when your dysregulation is really going off the charts, is you can reset your nervous system with a cold shower. It doesn't have to be ice cold, but it needs to give you kind of an intake of breath, little shock of cold. And I love this one. It's also really good for just increasing your energy. It's cheap, it's easy. I just love solutions like that. Finally, 10 is get a good squeezing hug. And if no one is there to give you that hug, you can press your back into the corner of a wall and kind of wrap your arms around yourself just so that you feel pressure around your torso. We're wired for that. We're wired to calm down when we're squeezed like that. It's kind of intuitive. Now you can use these techniques whether it's a big emotional trigger that set you off or just a little thing. You got a parking ticket or someone was rude to you, or you have to get on a Zoom call and talk and you feel nervous about it. It doesn't take much to set off that dysregulation response, but the sooner you can notice it and turn it around, the sooner you can forget the thing that set you off, and then you can get back to just being you. You can use your mind and your focus the way you want to use them. Wouldn't that be cool? So try these quick techniques I shared. If you want to go deeper into learning how to heal your dysregulation and your childhood trauma, you can take my advanced courses online, or you can take the free course, the daily practice. I put all the links below. And if you sign up for the daily practice course, well, 1, you can learn the techniques in less than an hour. You also get invited to free Zoom calls that I offer several times a month. And we use the techniques together, and there's an opportunity for Q&A. You can ask me questions, any issues that you're having with it, how can you do it a little better? And it's a chance where we all get to hang out and get to know each other. It's a wonderful group, and I hope you can join sometime. If you want to learn more about dysregulation and how it feels, how to know if you're affected, you should watch this video right here. It's a good one, very popular. And I'll see you next week.